Hello, awesome students, and welcome to this video tutorial for completing assignment 3.1 using AI-generated feedback. From within our course in Blackboard, you will want to select assignment 3.1, and you will see the instructions for the assignment. And the first thing you're asked to do is to upload your draft of your paper to Grammarly. And there is a link here to click on. It will open in a new tab or a new window for you. And I already have an account at Grammarly set up. If you do not, you will be able to do that from this screen. I don't have an account. Just be sure to use your Forsyth Tech email address for it. And once I am signed in, I will get to a screen where I can upload a paper. So from this screen where it says New Upload, you click on Upload. And then you'll be able to select it just like you're selecting an attachment. And it will upload and generate a report for you. And there are a couple of places where you can look for information for your report. It will ask you what type of report you would like generated, so we're going to leave this as general. The intent here is to tell a story because it's a narrative. The audience is going to be a general knowledge, general audience, and the formality we're going to leave as neutral. When I click on Done, I'll see that there are 85 suggestions for my paper. And one place that I can look to see how many I have and of each type is here. I can click on Correctness, and I'll see that there are a number of things that need to be changed in correctness. I click on Clarity. I'll see that there are a number of things here as well. Engagement, there are a few, but not as many. And delivery, there are a few, but not as many. So if I go back to my assignment, it's asking me what two major areas do I need to make corrections in. And so I might say corrections or correctness and clarity. I can also go here and look at my overall score. This is a great piece of information to have. The performance score that says 59 out of 100, that is not a score that this paper would receive if I graded it. This is just commenting on the quality of the writing in the document according to Grammarly's standards. So this screen will give you lots of information about the number of words, sentences. It will give you information about the readability and vocabulary, but right here it says Download PDF Report. Let's click on that. And my PDF report has downloaded. I want to open it up and look at it. And when I do, I will see that there is all kinds of detailed information here. There is that overview that I just saw on the previous screen, including that 59 out of 100. It also tells me that there are 83 issues, 29 critical, and 54 of them are more advanced. It will tell me here, if I wanted to get more specific in my answer to number 1, I would notice that in clarity, I have a lot of trouble with wordy sentences. And so that might be something that I would want to work on, and one of my responses to number 1 might be wordy sentences. I also have a lot of ungrammatical sentences in the correctness, and I can tell by how long this bar is. And so grammar is something else that I may want to work on as a suggestion. So once I scroll through that information, here's a copy of the paper. It's numbered, and then after it, there will be corresponding numbers that show you the different errors that need to be corrected. Those specific errors are actually easier to see if you look at this report in the website. So let's take a look at the assessment again and see what our questions are. So what two major areas do we need to work on? We've talked about that. Do we agree with that feedback? Was it helpful? In that case, we're going to have to look at our individual errors within our paper and decide whether or not we agree with it. A lot of these correctness errors are just spacing errors, having 2 spaces instead of 1 after the period. So we need to just take a look at it and decide, do we agree with these? Do we not agree with them? Was this feedback helpful? The third question asks us which pages in our Pocket Manual give evidence for our point of view. And so for that, I would just go back to our course in Blackboard, find one of the links, and open up our ebook. And from the ebook, one of the places that you need to be aware of is the index. So under Resources for a Pocket Style Manual, if you go to Index, that will allow you to look up things by topic. So for example, one of the things that this particular report generated is a wrong verb form. So it's telling me that in the sentence, the bell finally rung and I was so happy, it should be the bell finally rang. And it tells me it's changed the form of the verb. I can click here and learn a little bit more about it, and it will give me some instructional material. So here from my index, I'm going to go to look for verbs. So I'm going to scroll down and see if I can get to the V's quickly. Okay, so here we have verbs, but this is a problem with a specific tense of the verb, past tense. So I'm going to click here and let it take me to tenses verb, and it tells me that these appear on pages 26 to 28. I can type that in here, I can go to page 26 here, or I can just click this link. It will take me to information about how to form different tenses of verbs. Okay. Now I can also go back to my index I apologize, this is taking a minute to get me back there. It doesn't really want to go, so I'm going to refresh my screen. I'm going to go again to Resources and go to Index. I come down to verbs again just to see if I have anything about past tense available. You'll see there's lots of different things here for verbs. And I don't see anything that specifically says past tense. I'm going to try standard forms of and see if there's anything there. That's just plural. That's not really what I'm looking for. The other way that I can find this information is to go to the chapter that it should be in. In this case, it's grammar. And I can see that there are lots of sections that have to do with verbs. And that's where we were before. In verb tense. And we can also go to irregular verbs. And we know that this is an irregular verb because it is not simply adding an ed in the past tense. And this will give us some information about forming the past tense with some of these irregular verbs. and ring is even on this list, and it will show us that this is rang. So it may take a minute to find what you need in the book, but for your answer to number 3, what pages in your pocket manual give evidence for your point of view, I could say page 25 shows me that the past tense of ring is rang. And then what modifications did you make based on Grammarly's feedback? I would just go back to my report and clarify which changes I made based on information from Grammarly. So I might include that I removed extra spaces after periods. I do want to give you one word of caution here. When you click on this tab that says Generative AI, you get into some very murky waters, and I will show you why. If I highlight this paragraph and I tell Grammarly just to improve it, you'll see that it pretty quickly it brings something back here in this chat box. But if you read it and compare it to the original, it's very different. This is no longer this student's work. This is Grammarly's work at this point. It's taking a basis that the student has created, but it's revising it and rewording it and making it something completely different. At that point, you have inappropriately used AI when you use it to rewrite what you have done. And so if the student were to just copy and paste this into their work, that would be considered plagiarism because it's an inappropriate use of AI. So you want to make sure that you just avoid having Grammarly rewrite anything for you. So I hope this helps you to understand how to complete assignment 3.1, and if you have any questions, please let me know.